Good morning to everyone. I hope you all are fine and healthy. So welcome back again in your computer class. Now the first term syllabus is chapter number 2, Generations of Computer, chapter number 5, Presentation Software Special Effects, and chapter number 7, Internet Services. So let's start the chapter number 2, that is Generations of Computer. The first thing is that generation, that is what you mean by generation. So generation means remarkable improvement in any product. We call it as a generation. Remarkable means excellent. So as it is the same, generations of computer means remarkable development and growth in computer technology. Now see on page number 10, number 1 is UNIVAC. Because generation of computer means remarkable development and growth in computer technology. So number 1 is UNIVAC. After that, personal computer, that is PC. Then desktop computers. After that, all-in-one computer. Then notebook. Then tablet PC. Then smartphone. And now Intel Compute Stick. So this is the development and growth in computer technology. So let us learn about these different generations of computer. Number 1 is first generation of computers in 1946 to 1958. The first generation of computers started in 1946 and the makers of these computers used thousands of vacuum tubes. Those computers were very expensive, used large amount of electricity and generated a lot of heat, and one more thing, big in size. Now let's see some features of first generation computer. Number 1 is they used vacuum tube technology. That means generated a lot of heat. They used machine language. The size was very big. They were very expensive, produced a lot of heat. And the main thing, operating speed was very slow. And they were not much reliable. That is according to us. They are not much reliable. So we were not satisfied with the first generation computers. Then second generation computers in 1959 to 1964. Second generation computers start to use transistors in place of vacuum tubes. The transistors were far superior than vacuum tubes because that allowed computer to become smaller, faster, cheaper and more reliable than the first generation computer. Now let's see some features of second generation computer. They used transistors. They used assembly language, which is the low level language. The cost got reduced as compared to the first generation computer. Then the size was smaller than first generation computer. Operating speed was faster as compared to first generation computer and produced a lot of heat as it is the same first generation computer, and the memory was less. Some examples of second generation computers like IBM 140, Mark III, LEO. These are some examples of second generation of computer, but still again we were not satisfied with the second generation of computers. Then third generation of computers in 1965 to 1970. In the mid of 60s, the development of integrated circuit was the major breakthrough, resulting in the introduction of the third generation of computers. The transistors were replaced by integrated circuits, also known as semiconductor chip. So in third generation computer used integrated circuit as compared to vacuum tube, as compared to transistors, and also known as semiconductor chip. That's made a computer more powerful and increase the speed and efficiency of the computers. Computer could carry billions of instructions in a few seconds in third generation computers. And naturally the size of these computers was small as compared to the first and second generation of computers. Now let's see some features of the third generation computers. They used integrated circuits, like as compared to the vacuum tube, as compared to the transistor. In the third generation computers start to use integrated circuit, and we also call it as semiconductor chips. They start to use high level language like a COBOL, Fortran. The size became smaller as compared to the first generation and second generation computer. They were more reliable as compared to the first and second generation computer. They generated less heat as it is the same as compared to the first and second generation computer. One more thing is that users interact with keyboards and monitors in third generation computers. But still we were not satisfied with the third generation computers. Then fourth generation computers in 1965 to 1917. One mistake is there, fourth generation computers started in 1971 onwards. Not a 1965 to 1917, just 1971 onwards. They used microprocessors. The size of computer became very small as thousands of integrated circuits were built into a single silicon chip. That means the fourth generation computer size smaller as compared to the first, second and third generation computer. And these computers became more powerful and they could be linked together to form network. That means 2, 3, 4 computers connected to each other to make networking, which lead to the development of internet. This is a very main point, which lead to the development of internet. Now see some features of fourth generation computers. They used microprocessor. That means the size of a computer became very small as thousands of integrated circuits were built into a single silicon chip. They are using high level language. They are multi-purpose computers. They are accurate and reliable. And the operating speed is very fast. On page number 13, you can see this is a one chip, small in size, and the thousands of integrated circuits were built onto a single silicon chip, this one. So you can imagine the size of a computer. So in 1981, IBM introduced its first personal computer. This is a picture of first personal computer, PC, for the home users. And in 1984, Apple introduced the Macintosh. This is an image of Macintosh. So if the question is that what do you mean by multiprocessor? So multiprocessor is a single chip that does all the processing. Now the next is fifth generation computers, that is the present and beyond. The fifth generation computers are based on artificial intelligence. They are still in development, and the main goal of the fifth generation is to develop the computer that can respond to natural language. Natural language means like a human language. So these computers are capable of learning and taking their own decisions, for example, robots. So now you can see some features of fifth generation of computers. So the fifth generation computers will use super large scale integrated chips as compared to vacuum tube, as compared to transistors, as compared to integrated circuits, as compared to microprocessors. Fifth generation computers use super large scale integrated chips. Then they will have artificial intelligence. They will be able to recognize images and graphs. The aim is to be able to solve highly complex problems, including decision making. Next, they will be able to use more than one CPU for faster processing speed. And the last is the fifth generation computers are intended to work with natural language. This is the main goal of fifth generation computers. And these computers are still in development. So this is all about the chapter number 1. So student, you have to read this chapter. Book exercise and the question answer I will send in your class WhatsApp group. Thank you.